Hello and welcome to this short video on reflective writing. My name is Mark Holloway and I work in the Centre for Academic English here at the University of Hertfordshire. In this video I'm going to talk briefly about why we reflect and why that's good for us, and I'm going to talk you through two models which will help you to write your own reflections. So why reflect? I'll try to give you three reasons. Okay, so I think in the long term, reflection will help you to achieve your goals because reflection is an essential aspect of professional life. Any job that you do in the future is likely to involve some reflection for your personal development, your professional development, and things like promotion and pay rises will often require a process of application that involves some reflection on experience. And ultimately we believe that reflection will help you to learn both in your university life and your personal and future professional life. To say a little bit more about reflection and learning, so you may have seen this quote before: insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. You might see this quote attributed to Einstein. You might see it presented with a photo of Einstein, as I have done here. Well, Einstein never said this, but I think we can all relate to this idea that we often in life, and it's quite a human thing to do, we approach the same task often in the same way, and we might not be successful the first time, and then the second time we do it, we still do it exactly the same way, but we still hope somehow it's going to be better. And as I said, that's a perfectly actual normal thing to do because we tend to do what is familiar and what we know. But it can we can create a cycle there that prevents us from learning and developing. So reflection helps us to learn, maybe by pushing us to ask ourselves certain questions about what we've done, what we've seen, what we've experienced. And these questions might take the following form. We might ask ourselves, how can we prevent ourselves from doing the same thing over and over again? How can we learn from our mistakes? More generally, how can we learn from our experiences? Because it's not just about it's not just mistakes we learn from. We want to learn from the good things that we do as well as the bad. And whether good or bad, we can always ask ourselves, how can we do this better next time? And what can we take forward into the future from our learning? Okay. So that's why we reflect and what we hope to achieve by reflecting. And to me, reflection simply lies at the heart of learning. So what I'd like to do now is just speak to you about two frameworks for reflective writing, because we can reflect through conversations and just kind of thinking about our experiences, but in many situations we will be asked to write a reflection. So to help you do that, because it's not an easy thing, it's not easy to write a reflection if it's something you haven't done before. However, with the help of some simple frameworks, we can make it actually quite a straightforward task. So I'm going to talk to you about two frameworks for reflective writing. So Graham Gibbs' reflective cycle comes from the field of education. And to use this framework for your own writing, you can simply consider the different stages of Gibbs' cycle and think about each stage as a question. Now, if you write an answer to these questions and put them together, you'll come up with a piece of reflective writing. So the first stage in the cycle is description. What happened? Then feelings. What were you thinking and feeling when that happened? Evaluation. So that's just saying what was good and what was bad about the experience. Maybe considering whether it was more good than bad or more bad than good. Following evaluation, we have analysis. So in analysis, we ask ourselves, so what sense can I make of the situation? Okay, what does this all mean to me? In conclusion, you can consider what else you could have done in that situation. And then we end with an action plan for the future. If the same situation arose again, what could you do? What could you do that was the same? What could you do differently? Okay, I hope you'll see how that connects to what I've already said about reflection. So that gives us reflective cycle from education. A much simpler framework for reflective writing is this. It actually comes from the field of nursing, and this is from Gary Rolfe, Dawn Freshwater and Melanie Jasper in a publication from the beginning of this century, which actually drew on a very similar framework from the 1970s and kind of just built questions around it. And the framework, as you can see, is very simple. We've just got 3 questions. What, so what, and now what? And you can consider these 3 questions to relate to 3 different phases, which might remind you of the stages of Gibbs' cycle earlier. So the first stage is descriptive, saying what happened. The second phase is reflective, saying so what? What does that mean? And the final phase is what Rolfe et al. Refer to as critical or emancipatory, which kind of means about kind of learning for the future. So the now what question is about kind of, so what will you do in the future as a result of reflecting on this? So just to recap, to go through these questions, if you are reflecting on an experience, in the what part of your reflective writing, you describe the situation, focusing on achievements, consequences, responses, feelings and problems. And then you ask yourself, well, so what? And you discuss what you've learned about yourself, what you've learned about relationships or theory, models, attitudes, cultures, actions, thoughts, understanding, and any improvements you can consider as a result of what you have learned. And the final question, now what, is a chance for you to identify what you need to do in the future in order to improve future outcomes and develop your learning, or kind of just to do things better or to be better in the future. So 3 really simple questions, but I hope you agree that if we just ask those questions about any event or experience that we go through, it can guide us through a really helpful reflection, and certainly it can guide our writing. And if you follow these kind of questions, it will actually give your writing a really clear and effective structure. So if you're still watching this video, thank you very much for your attention. If you've got any questions or comments, you can email me via m.holloway3@hearts.ac.uk, and you can go to the Centre for Academic English web pages via www.go.hearts.ac.uk/academic-English, and throughout the year we offer one-to-one consultations and workshops, so look out for work that we do around reflective writing through the year, and there may be live sessions that you can either join in with or watch recordings of. Okay, so I hope to hear from you or see you soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye.